Of all the different investments I've done, this is probably the number one thing that people ask me about and always get interested in. For some reason, I don't totally get it, though it is super awesome. And we're going to talk about that this week on the Furlo Capital Real Estate Podcast, where we dive into the intricacies of passive real estate investing. And our mission is to equip people to invest wisely in both properties and people so that together we can build wealth while improving housing. I'm James, and this is my wife, Jessie.
That's super intriguing. I don't know why this made me pop into my head like crosswords, but I've been okay. So you subscribe to the newspaper,
yeah.
and it has been kind of fun to have actual like sheets of paper, and
I know,
we
right?
pull the comics out. You read the business section, you flip through and get like updates on Baker City because we just bought a place. Anyways.
I'm hopeful that'll become my new like number one that everyone asks about because it's really cool.
Yeah, that is a cool property.
Yeah.
But anyways, that made me think there was this line in one of the crosswords that was state slogans are recorded. I don't know, something like that. And I was like, state slogans? And the answer was license plates.
Okay.
And I was like, do license plates have the state slogan? I know they have states. But I don't know, that got me thinking. And then we were talking about Indiana because that's talk about. And, I was like, what is Indiana known for? I don't know. Colorado's like colorful Colorado, I guess, or I don't know. Like the cheese state, the honeybee state. I don't know. There's all sorts of them.
It's probably not the cheese state. Colorado.
Wisconsin is like the cheese
Taste
state.
the Rockies.
Ooh,
wait, isn't that the quarters?
I mean, that is in Colorado.
I do remember, fun story. I was in Colorado visiting with you and your family, and I think we were married, maybe. Yeah, I think we were married.
Yeah, we're married.
Anyway, so we went out to some fancy restaurant, and I remember I was talking with the lady, and and I was like, I don't drink a lot, but if I do, I'm like, I want something interesting.
Sure.
And so I asked her, I was like, hey, do you have any good like local beers? And she looks at me and goes, Coors? And I was like, touche.
Okay.
That
Yes,
is a local
hear you.
beer. I will have a Coors. Which
So
I don't think
good.
I'd ever had one previously.
All right,
Again,
there
I
you
always go highfalutin fancy stuff. But which is fine. It was good. But yeah, it was pretty. I was like, yes, that is the local beer around here, isn't it? Taste the Rockies, of
So
course.
funny.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I primarily buy property in Oregon.
Yep.
But back in some date, I don't remember now. Let's think about this. We were living here.
Yeah.
So
It was
less than
within
10
the
years
last,
ago.
in the last 8 years.
Yeah. So anyways, we found ourselves in this interesting position where I had about $50,000 to invest. And I didn't actually know about this whole passive investing world yet. Yeah. And the biggest problem that we ran into was that we had moved here and we liked here and we were going to stay here.
Yep.
And so for me to buy another multifamily was just going to be difficult because
We weren't going to owner occupy.
yeah, we weren't going to owner occupy, so we had to have 25% down.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, what do I do with this? Well, I was following various people, Bigger Pockets, stuff like that. And there was this one guy, he wrote a bunch about multifamily things, and I followed him. Well, he had this webinar where he was like, hey, come listen to this guy talking about flipping land. And I was like,
What is this?
This is very interesting. And so that was what I did. I joined the webinar, and I'm a sucker for that.
What's
kind
that
of
guy's
stuff. Jack Bosch.
Jack Bosch.
Jack
Yeah, that's
Bosch.
right.
Yes,
I remember like seeing snippets of it as you were watching the videos, and
Yeah.
this was
He's
classic.
a character, man.
It was a classic, sales seminar.
Yeah. But I'm like, I was in. I'm like, this is amazing. And yeah, his whole thing, it was like, no tenants, no toilets, no tantrums. That was his. I was like, I love the alliteration.
So good.
But I was intrigued by it because it was this idea of, because you don't have those three things, you can buy anywhere in the world from anywhere in the world because you don't have anything to deal with.
Yeah, you're not
Like,
managing
this is
a property.
And he was like, depending on the size of the land that you could get something for little, like for as little as like 25,000 or
If it's a
50,000. And
tiny
I went,
little plot.
okay, interesting. Yeah, just like a single track type of thing. And I was like, okay, maybe I can put my $50,000 to work doing this. So I bought his $2,000 course and took it. And I got to tell you, man, it was amazing. It was probably my first step into like, okay, you're doing them on your own. You're not necessarily relying on agents anymore to do it. And this course, like, again, it was fantastic. It did talk about the idea of land flipping, but then he got into the whole, like, here's how you market and here's how you find people. And he got into like, here's how you write letters. Here's how you send letters.
Oh yeah.
All of that stuff.
Wait, was he, no, I think it was a different course. The
I have
people
taken a
that,
couple of them.
or it was like Driving for Dollars. That's somebody else.
Probably.
Or
that's
like
a lot of people. That's pretty classic.
Yeah,
You don't have any money.
Yeah.
Go
you're
drive
just
around looking
drive
for
around,
places.
look for a dumpy place and make an
Yeah,
offer.
yeah.
Or like, the letters, yellow letters.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but for
Interesting.
him, it was interesting. He actually said like, don't necessarily do the yellow letter thing. He was like, just send a regular mail. Because that was part of his thing. It's like, he's like, no one's competing in this area. And he's like, so it's pretty like, it's just this.
Yeah, it's
like, it's just not
weird
not
side
well
market
known
thing.
Yeah. So what I also liked about it, he's like, because you can invest anywhere in the world, like do some analytics, find out where the best place is. And so he described where you want to look at the MSAs. He was like, focus on the US, it's okay. But look at the top MSAs in the US. And you're looking
What's
for
an
places.
MSA?
Metropolitan Statistical Area.
Sure.
Big cities and around the big cities.
Okay.
So Portland is one.
Got it.
San Francisco, Los Angeles,
Big cities.
Denver.
Got it.
Those kind of things.
Okay.
And so I went and I pulled some stats for all of them. And I was looking at steady population growth, solid unemployment, and shrinking unemployment. And there were a couple other factors as well. But here's the idea. You don't buy in the big city. You buy around the city, because you're looking for people who maybe they're living in a small apartment, they've got some money, and they're like, oh, I want to maybe build my dream house just outside of the city.
Yep.
And so he's like, so that's what
That
you're
makes
looking
sense.
for. So for me, I identified Indianapolis at the time. I was like, man, this place, like it
was doing
hit all the
great, yeah.
stats. And then I knew what my budget was. And so I was like, okay, I'm looking for land that is available in my budget size. And so Indianapolis and Chicago are relatively close to each other, and there's a corridor in between them. That land's really expensive. I was like, none of this, like,
Interesting.
which makes sense, right? It's between the two big cities. But
Oh.
south of Indianapolis, it was significantly cheaper.
Because it's not like a main thoroughfare or something?
Yeah, exactly. So, it's quote out of the way.
Okay.
And so I identified a few counties there, and they talks about different. He even gives you like, go to these websites, do these types of searches. Like he was like, paint by numbers.
Wow.
Here's how you do this. And then
Yeah.
obviously he was like, hey, if you do a lot of this, here's my software. You can get onto my software subscription, and it automates all this for you. Which I was like, this is kind of brilliant. So I identified that area, and then sent out 2,000 letters. And what was also interesting about the land thing is, so typically when you're sending out letters to owners, you want someone who, it depends, my thinking on this has evolved, but typically you're looking for people who have owned the properties for a long time, because then they might own it free and clear, and you can make it either a low cash offer, or you can do seller financing of some sort. You don't need to do that, but like that's typically what you're looking for. But they go for land, you don't necessarily want that, because a lot of times there's people who inherit land and they're like, I don't know what to do with this.
They don't
just
want
wanna
it.
They don't have a purpose for it, so
Yeah.
they just want to get rid of it. Which honestly, the person who I ended up buying my piece of land from, she hadn't just had it inherited from her dad. She'd owned it for like a couple of months, and it was like, I just want to cash out. And so I was like, dang, all right, cool. And he was talking about some of his stats where he's like, look, when you're normally sending out letters, if you get like a 0.5% response rate, you're happy. And he's like, ours are like 10% response rate. He's like,
Which
it's
is phenomenal.
It's unreal, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, let's go. And then the way he set up his system is you send out a letter, and then you have like a phone number that people call, and you leave a very detailed message, like telling people, hey, we cash for land and blah, 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 and whatever, had a whole script for it. I took it a step further. I actually created a website that had a video, which then they could watch the video and then click the link to give me their information. It was just a Google form that they filled out telling me about the property and a bunch of stuff, which they were supposed to leave all that information in the voice message.
Yeah.
And then I could do all the research ahead of time, call them on the phone, and be prepared to make an offer on the spot. That's how I did it. I had a bunch of stats. Where did I write those down? Yeah. So so that's what I did. So I didn't actually sell at the full 2,000. I'm sorry. I had 2,000 on my list, and I started with just with 1,000 instead of the 2 because I was like, I just want to I don't really
test
know.
It.
Yeah. Not necessarily test it, but I was like, I don't know if I can handle 2,000 because he was like, so his thing, he goes, if you send 1,000, he's like, you'll probably get one deal. If you send 2,000, I guarantee you that you'll get a deal. Okay. So I was like, so send out 2,000. I was like, well, I bought the list for 2. Let me start with 1, and then in a few weeks I'll send the other tranche.
Yeah. See what happens.
So I did that. I had 86 visits to my website. So that's not quite 10%, but
but pretty good.
8.6%. Yeah. Of those 86 visits, I had 22 people watch the video.
Oh.
I know this is the nice part about the website, right? I have all the stats.
Yeah, you can track it all.
Of those, 10 people filled out the forms.
Interesting.
I also had 6 people call me and 3 people leave a voice message.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Yeah.
So you had some follow up to do.
Yeah.
Some actual leads.
Yeah. Oh man, leads are good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So like I said, there was this lady. She had recently inherited a piece of land from her father, and she wanted to move to Mexico and was looking for some cash.
Yeah.
And so I bought it for $40,000 plus $1,100 in closing costs that I paid, and I just paid her cash. And it was for 1.5 acres of land in Barkersville, Indiana. And I never visited it. I never saw it outside of Google satellites.
Yep.
Yeah. So here's another little tip that he talked about. Like this course was honestly like,
it sounds super detailed.
I have used so many of the things I learned in this course just in regular property investing.
Yeah.
Because he goes, here's
Laid
the blueprint
on
how to get it done.
Yeah.
So his other thing, because he's like, you don't want to visit. You don't need to. He goes, but how do you so you have an agent. He's like, just pay the agent fee to have them listed. I mean, the buyers pay the commission anyway, so who cares? And he's also like, well, he says like, you could do a couple things. Like first put it on Craigslist, discount it. Like if you can buy it at like 50% its value, put it on Craigslist for 70% of its value. And you might have someone who comes along and is like, yeah, dude, I'll pay cash for this. And it's like, done deal. Just move on to the next deal. Like velocity of cash. He's like, or, if you're looking to get a little bit more for it, list it with an agent. And he goes, here's what you do. Go on to Zillow and just look up any property that you can find in the area. He goes, and then on the side column, it has a list of like agents who are advertising on Zillow. He goes,
for that
those
area.
are people who seem to be successful enough that they're willing to spend money on ads. And he goes, pick the one that has the highest number of ratings in the area.
Yeah.
He goes, they're the mover and shakers. And so that was what I did. I found a guy and I called him up and was like, hey, I'm looking at buying this piece of land. I'm thinking about buying this much. He knew the piece of land that I was talking about. Yeah. And I told him the price and he goes, if you can buy it for that, that's amazing. He's like, that's a steal of a deal. I'm
yeah.
like,
good.
Cool. That's my plan. And so that was what I did. I bought it and then called him the next day. I was like, all right, man, let's list it for sale. And that was what we did. And so he listed it. Let's see here. I sold it. It took 6 months and which is long in the land flipping game. Like they try to do things like in weeks, but I was like, whatever. I also bought it in the like winter time of year. Oh. Anyways, I sold it for I think it was just it was like $75,000. So, which is usually why people are like, tell me more about this land.
Yeah, like wait, what? Because you didn't build anything.
Your money there? How does that work?
You didn't really change anything at all.
Oh, I did nothing. It was just I was taking advantage of an market arbitrage, or like and just what is it? It's non-perfect information. So one of the hallmarks of the stock market is it has, quote, perfect information. Anytime information comes out, it instantly becomes accessible to everyone and gets incorporated into the market. And so no one can get ahead because
you all
just
hear
don't
the
know.
same thing and react
Outside
similarly.
of like, there's some people like, one of the things that Warren Buffett is known for is that when he wants to invest in a company, he dives deep onto the leadership team. He reads all newspaper articles about them. He reads their annual letters. He tries to get into the heads of their strategy and long-term stuff. So at that point in time, he's making some very educated guesses on
where they're headed.
And it's more he's making a bet on the leadership as opposed to making a bet on the act, like where they're currently at.
Yeah.
And that honestly was his big, like, that's what he's good at. And he's learned, I just got to invest the time to learn about these people. And so it can be done in the stock market, but typically it's very, very hard.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, there's an asymmetry of information out there. Like, here's this person, she bought this land and she's like, I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. And it's at that point in time, I sent a letter, and the people who ultimately bought it were from California.
Whoa.
And they were moving over, I'm assuming, to be closer to some sort of family.
Sure.
And they were able to take whatever they had from their California house and build a brand new, awesome house on this.
Yeah.
Their dream home, that kind of thing. Like,
so for them, it was a deal too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like this lady and these people like never would have connected. So I was that inner connector piece, and she just wanted the cash quick, and I was able to give her that.
Right.
Whereas they were like, well, part of why it took 6 months was they took a couple months to run through the permits and to see if they could actually build what they wanted to build, and
Makes sense.
which is fine. And so that's one of the interesting things about just real estate in general is there isn't perfect information in the market. And so if you're willing to put in the time and effort, you can get ahead of it. Yes. I mean, even think about like for passive investing stuff, right? I do a 506B investment. When I have an offering, I cannot publicly advertise about it. So the only way you find out about it is by being on my email list, and then I tell you about it.
Yep.
And us having conversations and me knowing what it is that you're looking for, and then I come to you like that's it. Like normal people don't know about those kind of deals. They happen all the time, and most people you never
wouldn't
hear
even
about
have
it.
an idea. Yep.
And so that's one of the things about real estate. That's not the stock market. Let's see here. So I sold it, made some money. My total capital invested was $41,000. And when it was done, after all of my expenses and everything, how come I didn't write that down? No, that's all right. I made, trying to do the math in my head, because I didn't make the 75 because I did have to pay commissions and some other stuff, but it was like an 86% return at the end of the day, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's
yeah
for like very little work.
Yeah, and then
it was time that you put in.
And ultimately, my goal in buying it was not to keep doing land flipping, though it was intriguing.
Yeah.
But I was very much in this is kind of a feast or famine type of deal. And at the end of the day, we were reaching this point where we were starting to talk about what does it look like for me to quit my job. Like, we just need another rental or two.
Yeah.
And so that was ultimately where we were
that
headed.
made more sense.
And so what we ended up doing was we took the funds from the money that we made on that, and we did two things. Number one, I did go off and buy another 5-unit place. And then, since I didn't use all the proceeds, which was awesome, I spent money on repainting an apartment building, and then we refinanced it. And then we used the cash from that to buy another place. And I also bought a new computer. And I think we had one more student loan that we just
finished paying off.
We're done.
Yeah.
And then that was that. And so
just snowballed everything.
Yeah. And so that gave us enough that I was able to quit my job.
Yeah.
And so that was where I was like, I don't need to keep doing this.
Also why it's an intriguing deal, because it allowed all of this other movement to happen.
Yeah. It was a catalyst. It probably sped up where we were already headed by like a year.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it's funny, now that I'm doing some house flipping stuff, I'm like, man, getting into the land flipping deal is not a horrible thing. But the trick is you just got to buy it for the right amount.
Yeah. I like that perspective that I don't remember how you said you were like the bridge between this disconnect and information.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, for some reason, it feels a little like, okay, so you bought this land and you just listed it and you did nothing and you made a bunch of money. Like
I didn't add
aren't
any
you
value
swindling
to the
someone here? Like,
no!
you know, which is like, no, you're
Swindling.
not. But
Such a
but I'm like, dude, why didn't the lady just list it for the higher price?
Yeah.
And
she had higher,
but
she
she
had
never,
priorities.
she never would have, like, that wasn't what she wanted. You know, it wasn't like,
Yeah, dude, she
just wanted to sell it for cash and be done.
Yeah.
You know, which is like, okay, cool. If that's what you want, which I don't know. To me, I'm like, perhaps it would feel better if you like wrote the letter and you were like, hey, now that I have shared this with you, we will split the profits because I have this cool deal and you can actually get a lot of money from it and you just didn't know and now you know. But I don't know.
Yeah, I've actually written deals like that with people.
Sure.
Where what I'll say is like if they want a certain amount, right? And I'm like, hey, I can't necessarily give that to you, but it's like I'm willing to partner with this on you. Where why don't you sell it to me, and I will front the money to do all the repairs and fix it up.
Yeah.
And then once I get reimbursed for that, we'll split whatever the profits are 50-50.
Yeah.
And I haven't had anybody take me up on that one yet. So
Really?
I don't know if it's gonna but as that has been one, it's usually people are like, nah, I just want the cash. I'm
yeah.
like, all right.
Which I totally get, you know.
So here's your lowball offer, and they go, okay, cool.
Sure.
You go, okay.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that's part of the market is people's motivation.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, no, land flipping, it's
Don't
super
necessarily
intriguing.
change
Every time I talk about it, I'm like, that was cool. It's like, and it's just that dream of like, you can do this on a beach. Like there's no tenants, toilets, or tantrums.
There you go.
It's pretty nice.
Tenants, toilets, or tantrums.
Yeah. I've never visited, never been there.
Yeah. It was super. I remember going through it and being like, you're going to what? Okay. But you haven't, how do you know what it looks like? And you're like, oh, there's an agent there. You know, they know the piece of land. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
But you're not going to verify anything like yourself. Like, no. Why would I need to? Like, it's a piece of land. There's no property there.
There's
like,
nothing to inspect.
It's ground.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
They did say like you could go to onto like Fiverr or something like that and hire someone in the area to like, hey, can you just go take a photo?
Drive
of this
by,
for me?
yeah. Give me some pictures.
I need
of
a
this
third
place.
party. You don't care. Is this thing real?
Yep.
Yeah, but ultimately,
So
like
funny.
you go through escrow and stuff like that.
Sure.
And so like they're verifying.
Yeah,
that. Like
it's
you're
an
actually transferring
actual
title.
real
It's a
property.
thing.
Sure.
Though there's no address on lands.
Right.
And,
Just
dude, that's
a plot.
It's kind of weird, like doing all APNs and that's like parcel number stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like I said, I use a lot of the things that I learned from that today. Like when we're going out and getting deals, like we've got a whole system where when we do ads that people come in and they give us their information and it's like, it's that same process. It's that same video. It's the same kind of message. And so I'm doing those kind of things. I am looking at land now to buy, but oftentimes the question is like, okay, could we flip this, or does it make sense to build something on this? Like, what's the highest and best use for this land?
Interesting.
And you know, and those kind of conversations. And so there's a lot that that I use that I learned from it.
It's very cool.
So it was a cool course. It was
worth it.
Definitely. It was like, you know, at the time I was like, man, $2,000 is kind of a lot, but yeah, no, 100%, it was worth every penny of it.
Totally worth it.
And yeah, that's the one
Paid
that
for itself.
like most people like, tell me more, which I get. Yeah. But yeah, I enjoy the rentals and the physical properties and doing syndications.
You
and
enjoy
flips,
the toilets, tenants, and tantrums.
Dude, I totally do. I do. It's kind of fun. I enjoy like the psychology and how you approach it, and just loving on people and leading people. Like, I don't know, that part's fun.
Yeah, ultimately, it's a hospitality business, I guess. Kind of. I mean, it's a people business.
Customer service.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, yeah. All business is personal, right? Isn't that the Michael Scott?
Exactly. All business is personal.
Business is the most personal thing there is. Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, no, anyways, that was it. Just a fun little venture. That was one of the many steps that we took along the way of our investment
Super interesting.
life. Like I said, that was my first like truly getting into the off market, Like, all right. And pursuing it myself. I had done an off-market deal with Align Apartments, but that was kind of like, that just fell into my lap. And I was like, oh, cool. I guess I'll take this.
Yeah, let's
but this was one of me intentionally going out and finding it.
Right.
And it worked.
Learning something new.
Yeah. So it was great. Yeah, he still puts on the class, and now his tool has, awesome AI stuff built in. And I still get regular promotional messages from him all the time talking about putting on this seminar.
Maybe you should get another one. I mean,
check out this software.
If that land thing was worth it.
Dude.
You're like, don't tempt me.
I was just about to say, don't tempt me, Frodo. Man, so true. No, it's all good. No, like I said, I enjoy bringing on other investors. That was actually probably the first time too, by the way, where I had people come to me and say, like, can I back you? Like, can you buy a place and I can fund you?
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, this is a thing.
Don't know.
Okay. But again, I was like, well, I'm out. Like, I achieved the dream.
Right.
So I don't need to keep going.
Yeah.
And so, whatever. But yeah, I don't know, maybe someday. But anyways, I love doing syndications. I love having people invest with me. And if you are interested in learning more about what that looks like with us, you can check us out at furlo.com. So with that, thanks for listening. Have a great day.